Siomra Beag.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for the freshest, newest, definitely not pre-recordedest episode of Michael and Benjamin's podcast.
No cans here.
Welcome back to On Siomra Beag. Welcome back to the tiny room. I am the Michael of Michael and Benjamin's podcast, coming to you live from last week when we recorded this. And I am joined by the man who is to podcasting what Terminators are to Sarah Connor, relentless in his pursuit and implacable in his constitution, is Benjamin.
Yeah, that was a bit convoluted, but yeah, fair enough. I am to podcasting what Sarah Connors is to podcasting. Sometimes I'm there, sometimes I'm not.
I'm going to bloody stop you, Ben, for a second, and just let's get this sorted out right here and right now. Sarah Connor.
Oh, it's
Sarah
Connor.
Connors.
Okay.
Because that is going to be relevant in this week's bloody Terminator retrospective review week thing.
Yeah.
Theme music.
Theme music for the podcast. We don't actually have any theme music.
Yeah, wow, you turned on the dime there. That was pretty good because I caught you in the middle of a sentence, but you got it there. Anyway, what were you going to say?
I was going to work my way through my own convoluted introduction this week and say I am to podcast what Sarah Connor is to Terminators, being sometimes there and sometimes not, depending on which stage we're at. Because right now, Michael, I will be in sunny Spain.
Oh.
Well, hopefully sunny Spain.
Hopefully it might be raining.
Hopefully it could be raining. I could also be being lynched as a tourist in Barcelona. We don't know.
Yeah, just wear your Catalunya flag and you'll be fine. Benjamin, you are to podcast what Sarah Connor is to Terminators. You're just out to destroy them.
Just out to get rid of them.
Get rid of them all.
No good.
They're all bloody the same anyway. Ben, speaking of things which are all the same, we have started watching a new show on the Netflix.
A new show on the Netflix. Things that are the same, being Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudds. There's Paul Rudds everywhere. That's the name of the show. There's Paul Rudds
Paul
everywhere.
Rudds everywhere.
How many Paul Rudds are there? Loads of them.
I'd like to live in that world, Michael. I think I would enjoy a Rick and Morty style. There's Paul Rudds and multiple Paul Rudds, and they're up to shenanigans.
Who's in the house? It's Paul Rudd. And who's with him? It's another Paul Rudd.
It's another Paul Rudd, and everyone's charmed. What we're actually watching, Michael, this week is bloody Living With Yourself, which is the new Netflix series starring Paul Rudd and noted Irish comedian Aisling B.
Aisling B. Funnily enough, Ben, neither of us know her.
Neither of us know, which is shocking.
You would think that we would have some connection. It's weird, isn't it?
Somehow, but we don't. We don't. We're going to look. It's been a great year for bloody Aisling B. Yeah. She has this one. Yeah. Very good. We'll get into that in a few minutes. And she has This Way Up, which is her other comedy with Sharon Horgan on Channel 4.
Don't you think it's interesting that There's Too Many Paul Rudds has come out very close proximity to There's Too Many Will Smiths?
Yeah, but I would argue that Too Many Paul Rudds is far superior to Too Many Will Smiths.
It is the better product, isn't it?
It is the better product of the two.
The action scenes are not as good.
No, they're a little poorer. But as Michael, I struggled with whether or not we should review this particular thing.
No, we definitely should.
It's us adjacent.
No, it's us bang on straight down the middle. I disagree with you there. Straight down the middle. This is directly our territory. This is it's a comedy, sure.
It's a comedy, surely.
It's a very science fictional comedy.
It's also a very dark comedy in certain places. Mm-hmm. There's some dark and twisty things happening. To give you the central premise of this one, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Rudd is a down on his luck office worker who just can't take it anymore. Basically his life's a bit stressful, Michael. Yeah. He's lost the lust for life.
The joie de vivre.
The joie de vivre. And he pretty much marked perfectly by a joke where he kills a fly and he says, You're welcome.
You're welcome. Very good. A great joke.
Great joke. Sets up the entire tone for the series and you're like, okay, I'm in.
Got it. I got it. I know what you're saying.
I'm in.
I know your raison d'etre.
There's also, it seems to be quite resonant with some people. Like, my brother came down the stairs and he said, watch the new Paul Rudd one. Very good.
Your brother that I know.
Your brother that you know. My brother that you know.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Anyway, he goes to this spa. He's recommended a spa by a co-worker.
I'm just going to interrupt you there, Ben, for a classic Irish joke. You're a spa.
You're a spa.
Very good, right? Go on.
So he goes to a spa.
Yeah, you're a spa.
And he gets this magical treatment. But, Michael...
Yes.
Not a spa treatment.
Not a spa treatment.
It's an illegal Chinese-inspired cloning facility.
Korean.
Yeah. Oh, that was racist. Sorry about that, lads.
I've assumed Korean, actually. I thought they were speaking Korean. I no, it is Korean.
Well, anyway, Asian, because I don't know how to say that any other way without being racist. So he assumes he's going for a kind of rejuvenating spa treatment. Interestingly enough, Michael, I had no idea that it was Tom Brady who walks out of the...
Neither did I, Ben.
I didn't know who it was.
I don't know who Tom Brady is.
I just thought it was a handsome man who looked happy. And then he goes, was that Tom Brady? And Tom Brady is the huge football star from America.
Yes, that kind of moment of revelation that makes him go through with it, lost on international audiences a little bit, I think.
Completely lost on me.
Because when a handsome man came out and he looked happy, I didn't think, oh, there's famous football star?
Yeah.
Tom Brady. I thought he looks a bit like a handsome man.
I thought he was the most typically American man they could find.
That's what I thought.
He was tall, he was handsome, he drove an Escalade of some kind.
But anyway, Ben.
Sorry. That was a weird side thing. It turns out that's not what's happening at all.
No.
He's being cloned, Michael.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody feels so good, because they don't have any of the wear and tear, Michael,
exactly.
of everyday life. And it's not only cloning, it's cloning and rapid microsynaptic exchange.
Yeah.
So that you have your same memories.
Same memories.
And then it kind of does a bit of a prestige move where the clone has to die.
A prestige move is a very good way of putting it.
Prestige being the movie with Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman.
Christian Bale.
And Christian Bale. Yeah, Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman.
And loads of Hugh Jackmans.
Stacks of Jackmans.
Tons of them.
Heaps of Jackmans.
Stacks of Jackmans. Much better. Stacks of Jackmans.
But anyway, so it turns out he was supposed to die and be buried.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
No, it
it
fails.
goes
The
tits
procedure
up, Michael, in a kind of a classic little bit of magical realism, where that's pretty much what we're dealing with. It's not really science fiction. It's
there's a bit of science fiction.
No, there is in that term, but it's magical realism where something's gone tits up, and that's the whole premise of our show.
It doesn't really matter the mechanism of why he survived and why the two of them are out there.
That's not what's here, Michael. We are where we are, and we have to deal with the world as it is, not as we want it to be.
It harkens back, Ben. This plot exists previously, believe it or not, in Star Trek.
Shock.
Because in Star Trek, Ben, when the transporter transports you, it essentially breaks you down molecule by molecule and saves the pattern of your molecules and then rebuilds you molecule by molecule somewhere else.
Oh, the philosophical questions. Michael.
Exactly. So you basically die.
Jesus.
The original you is torn to disintegrated, less than atoms, Ben. Energy, patterns.
Keep that Al Ewing on a leash. I don't want to care.
Everyone's atoms. No, now Al Ewing's American. I don't know.
Everyone's atoms.
Everyone's atoms.
Down to the core.
Right. No, here, listen. Everyone's atoms. They're in space. They get breaking down, and then you come back, and there's loads of you. And your hands are your face, and your face are your hands.
And they rip you apart worse than the British did to us for 800 years, and then you're put back together in a way the British never did, because they didn't do anything for us. Anyway.
All right, jeez.
That's what happens.
So, in that Star Trek episode, they try to transport Commander Riker off a planet.
Oh, good old Rikes.
During a storm or some such.
Big Daddy Rikes.
And what happens is, there's a malfunction.
Dun, dun, dun.
And they transport him successfully, but they don't disintegrate the one on the planet.
Yeah.
So they both go on living their separate lives, which is exactly the bloody premise of this.
Yeah.
Although less funny.
Yeah, well, Star Trek would be.
Fewer Paul Rudds.
Paul Rudds. Can we just have a little fan cast moment for
Paul Rudds?
Effortlessly charming.
You know, Ben, I've called the show Too Many Paul Rudds, but I don't think such a thing is possible.
I'd take as many Paul Rudds as we're going.
Not enough Paul Rudds.
Not enough Paul Rudds. That's what I call everything else now.
How many Paul Rudds are there? Not enough Paul Rudds.
That's our new unit of measurement for quality programming. How many Paul Rudds?
And Ben, I have to say, from an Irishman in space perspective, they have undoubtedly let Aisling B write her own dialogue.
Oh, has to be. I'd say there's a lot of ad-libbing on that set, Michael.
Do you reckon it's ad-libbing?
I hazard a guess Aisling B is just given the gist of what she's supposed to get around to.
Say that like an Irish person.
The gist of what you... Look, Aisling, we have an idea, right? And we want you to get around to it eventually. So we're going to give you the gist.
Yeah.
And you're going to give us the rest.
What would you do if you found your husband smelling you in the middle of the night? I'd go, are you smelling me?
What are you at?
Very convincing.
And then also when she seduces him, she just says, just get into the bed. Which is the most...
Yeah, very good.
And this is probably revealing of my experience with Irish women.
What about you, Ben? I think I have to say. But it's very good. It's very enjoyable. Yeah, you're right. It's not very science fiction-y. Once they get out past the premise.
It's far more in the style of... there's a famous Tchaikovsky feature of it.
Oh.
The Double.
How do you know if someone's read Tchaikovsky? Don't
worry,
they'll bloody tell you on a podcast.
But it's also very Kafkaesque.
Oh, God.
Here
you go.
This is a legitimate trope. that
Go on.
affects the thing, where something bizarre happens and the character is forced to deal with it with very little or no explanation.
That's not Kafka-esque.
Yes, it is.
It's not. It's a courtroom about brothers. Seven brothers or something.
Son of a bitch. You're thinking of the Broadway show Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Was that not Kafka?
No.
Franz Kafka, I think it was. Noted musical playwright Franz Kafka.
Big on Broadway.
Big on Broadway.
Anyway, great old show. Fun to watch the interaction between those two. Some ominous vibes creeping up. I've only seen 3 episodes in, Michael. I'm looking forward to watching the other 5.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
We'll do a little review maybe in 3 weeks, Ben, when we've seen all of them.
Once we've seen all the eps.
Because then we'll do a proper review rather than just a little discussion.
Multi-eps.
Very good, though.
Go on. Great show.
What else is...
Other things that we have
gone.
to talk about today, Michael. Things we have to talk about
You
today.
have the notes again this week.
We don't
Ben.
have a lot, sorry. Well, this week being the week that we did last time. But we went to see a movie.
Oh, we did. Wednesday Night Cinema Club.
On
Went to
a
see a
Wednesday,
movie.
which
Yeah.
we now have a WhatsApp group for.
Yeah, we do. Wednesday Night Cinema Club. The brave men of Wednesday Night Cinema
The
Club.
brave men, not dosed with coward's blood, of Wednesday Night Cinema Club.
And you even joined us, Ben. We went to see...
I washed
Ben,
my coward's blood off this week, Michael.
Who went to see it, Ben? You went to see it?
I went to see it.
I went to see it.
Shane went to see it.
Shane went to see it. Our friend Jim went to see it. And my friend Paul went to see it. All 5 of us brought together, finally, by the Terminator franchise, Ben.
Bizarre.
A franchise which hasn't produced a good movie since
In
1991.
27 goddamn years.
Yes. 28 years without a good movie, and that's the movie that somehow brought us all together.
Worked though.
Bizarre.
Michael, it's important to note, I suppose, for people to go, that there have been a lot of Terminators, Michael.
Well, before you start, Ben, I'm going to say that people, on that note, people should go check out our website, ShaneReview.com, where you can check out Courtney is in Session, where a friend of the podcast, Shane, has done a written review.
A bloody written review.
Not so much of the film as the experience of why we went to see it.
Yeah, but it's good. It's got tropes, it's got
Themes.
troughs and peaks,
Yeah.
valleys and...
Are you talking about the film or Shane's review?
Shane's review.
Oh yeah, bloody read it.
It's a bloody literary masterpiece, Michael.
Literary masterpiece.
Up there with the best of travelling. If anyone's read...
7 brides for
seven brides for 7 brothers. 7 reviews for 7 moviegoers. Yeah, look, just go check it out. Courtney is in Session. It's over there on the Sean Rebeag website, SEOMRABEAG.com. In fact,
started
pause
reading
this podcast right here. No, don't actually listen to the whole podcast and then go check it out. It's a unity of experience thing.
Anyway, Ben, we saw the bloody Terminator.
We did. It's important to note that there have been many Terminator sequels, Michael.
Yes.
And I think it's been argued several times that Terminator 2, Judgment Day, of in 1992, is the best of the franchise.
Oh.
Would that be fair to say?
Are we talking Terminator before we talk the new
Well,
film?
should
or
we give
just...
some context to understand what's happened?
Look,
and
Ben,
then review the film?
I do not believe that there is anybody listening to this who doesn't know what Terminator is.
That's a fair point.
If you're listening to this and you don't know the Terminator franchise, what are you bloody doing? There's a Skynet. It's coming to get you.
Skynet.
It's Skynet. It's pronounced Skynet. There's a Skynet. It's in the future.
There's
a skinhead in the future. He's a racist. He's coming to get you.
He's coming to get you.
He's going to send robots after you.
That's why the Terminator has a German accent.
He especially doesn't like women and children. Basically, that's it.
Yeah, anything. Yeah.
There's a robot from the future. It's going to send Arnold Schwarzenegger to get you.
Basically, the artificial intelligence that rules the planet in the future has
Skynet,
the least effective way of murdering a baby by sending one agent at a time to find 2 people,
despite essentially unlimited resources.
and a time machine that could send him back to outside the hospital while Sarah Connor is in labour.
Yeah.
But we don't do
have
that.
to fight back then.
We don't do that.
No.
She hasn't got a shotgun in the fucking labour room.
Well, I think, Ben, the idea of the Terminator is that, look, it's full of plot holes.
Yeah, stacks.
They don't make sense.
Stacks
But
of
the
time.
idea is that they didn't have a lot of that information because the world is post a nuclear apocalypse. So they didn't know what time. They didn't even know what Sarah Connor looked like, if you remember. Yeah. The first Terminator is him going around killing all the Sarah Connors.
Trying to find the right Sarah Connor.
No, he doesn't know who's the right Sarah Connor.
Oh, yeah, he's just eliminating as many as he can get his
He just
hands
killed
on.
every Sarah Connor because they don't know who Sarah Connor is. In Terminator 2, he comes back and he has a picture of John Connor. But in Terminator 1, they don't have a picture of Sarah Connor.
Guessing. It's all guesswork.
So he's guessing. He's just killing all the Sarah Connors.
Also, no eyebrows.
No eyebrows whatsoever.
No eyebrows. Grows some eyebrows for the next few models.
It's a good look.
Oh, it's a terrifying look. He's a much more ominous machine when he has no eyebrows.
Dun, dun,
strip out the human eyebrow. Turns out bloody horror fuel.
I'll tell you what we'll do.
Go on.
We'll talk about the new film, about the highs and lows and the goods and the bads.
Tell me more, Michael.
Then we'll retrospectively go back and talk about the others.
That's fine by me, Michael.
And other killer robots.
That's fine by me, Michael.
Ben, very briefly, tell us what was the story of the bloody new one.
Dark Fate.
Yeah.
So this one is
Terrible name.
Terminator Dark Fate. Terrible name.
Sounds like a mobile game.
It was also from the 1990s, though. It's a real 90s throwback.
Terminator
when everything.
Dark Fate.
Terminator Dark this summer. Yeah, it's great. Decent plot. What happens is this time we go back. We meet a whole new cast.
Whole new cast.
Of survivors. Well, not really. We're introduced to a young Mexican lady.
Yeah, what's her name?
I can't remember.
Let's call her Belinda.
Belinda the Mexican lady.
Yeah.
I can't remember. What's her name?
I don't know. I can't remember.
That's really embarrassing for the podcast.
Yeah, just keep going anyway.
Anyway, a Terminator is sent back to save her. Or is a Terminator sent back to save her? We're introduced to Grace, who's played by Mackenzie Davis. And may I just say...
Cook.
Mackenzie Cook?
Yeah, the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Get the fuck out of here.
Was that not him?
Jesus.
I thought that was him.
No. Sent a Terminator back... Terminator sent back to find and defend Mexican lady.
Yeah.
Dolores.
What's her name again? Belinda. Yeah, Belinda.
Whatever. Sent back to find her. She's Grace. Grace is there to defend her. She's not a traditional Terminator, Michael.
No.
She's a hybrid. She's an augmented human.
She's not Terminator at all, then.
She's not a Terminator at all. She's augmented. And we get a little flashback explaining what that is. You have to volunteer for augmentation in the human resistance. But it turns out...
They put bits in you.
Michael, turns out...
Don't spoil anything.
That she comes from a different future.
Straight into the spoilers.
Is that spoilers?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yeah. It's one of the twists, isn't it?
No.
It's not a good twist.
Not a good twist.
It's such a bad twist that you've not recognised it as a twist.
I don't think it was a twist at all. But anyway, she's sent back to defend it. It's not going well, Michael, because the
new Terminator.
A new Terminator is sent back, very much like the T-1000 model mixed with a metal alloy body, and these sent back to eliminate. She can't really cope with them because she's augmented, but she's not good enough to deal with two Terminators.
Because he can be two Terminators.
He can be
a liquidy Terminator or a skeleton Terminator.
Or a traditional Terminator, titanium Terminator.
Both at the same time.
Or both at the same time. It's a real bad egg.
He's played by Ghost Rider.
Gabriel Luna. Yeah, played by Ghost Rider. Not Ghost Rider, played by Ghost Rider. And he's sent
Danny.
back. And then
Her name's Danny.
we're introduced to good old staple of the series, Sarah Connor.
You call her a staple of the series. She's only been in 2.
Sarah Connor. And she appears, and she's a real badass lady.
Yeah.
Never lost her badass game.
She got a gun.
She got a gun.
A truck.
Some grenades.
An attitude.
A real chewed. She got some chewed in her.
It's the best work that
Linda Hamilton
has... No, well, Terminator 1 and 2 are her best work, but... She's not great as an actress, really.
No, she's pretty good in this, though.
She's good in this.
Very enjoyable.
She's playing...
she's playing herself.
No, I don't think so.
I feel like she's like that in real life.
I don't think she is. She was in Chuck for quite a while.
She played the mum in Chuck.
And I thought she never really clicked in that. But despite being a very similar character to this, I think this is just better edited, better directed, better shot, better dialogue.
She has a previous relationship with James Cameron, who's not the director of this one.
Jimmy C.
Timmy M is the director of
Tim
this
Miller
one.
of Deadpool.
Yeah. And so there's a significant amount of humour in this one that actually hits the beat on occasion. It isn't awkward or forced or strange. But we'll get to that a little bit later as well. But anyway, we follow this what essentially becomes
a ragtag group
of
women.
Misfits, of women lady misfits.
They're great, aren't they, women?
Misfits. We could also... A better title for this probably would have been Terminator 3.
Rise of the Women.
Women, grand bunch of lads.
Grand bunch of lads, women.
And that still would have been better than Dark Fate. But look, we follow that as it goes around. It's everything you expect from a Terminator movie, Michael, turned up to 11. We've got some car chases. We've got some unstoppable machines. We've got some cool graphics for damage.
Some fights.
Some explosions. Some explosions.
Some incredibly lethal Terminators who, when they get to their target, forget all of their lethal abilities.
They begin to play the long lob. The granny shot of basketball where they just throw the characters.
They just throw people.
They can
they could rip a head off as soon as look at you, but as soon as they get to the person they're trying to kill, they just push them.
We meet some of the quickest disposed supporting characters that I've ever come across. We meet Danny's father, dead off screen. We meet Danny's brother, dead once they get to the factory. I hope
Oh,
the
we're
dog
straight into
didn't die.
spoilers, are we?
We hope. Oh, sorry.
You haven't really announced there are going to be spoilers there, Ben. But you've just gone straight into
We just
it.
edit that out then, and we'll go
leave
for
it in. We'll leave
for
it
a
in.
big
You may suffer. You may suffer that. You may suffer the backlash.
You're the editor. I trust you. You never dig me out of a hole.
Edit your bloody self.
I notice you always take care of all your racial slurs when you let those slip in the podcast.
Very good.
We don't ever hear any of them.
I can't prove that that's not true. I see what you've done there. That's very clever.
It was very clever.
Unlike when you reveal all the spoilers. Let's just get into full spoilers.
Full
then.
spoilers then. Look, lads, it's a ragtag bunch of misfits taking on some Terminators. Shock and awe. Most of the cast survive. The two Terminators. The two Terminators follow.
They don't survive. Only two of the
Only
cast
two of the
survive.
cast survive.
Two of the people in this film survive till the end, Ben.
And in traditional Terminator sense, the good Terminators all die at the end.
Yeah.
They all get a real smack around.
And Mackenzie Crook's neck, just remember, she isn't a Terminator.
Not a Terminator.
Yeah.
Augmented human.
She's a
but
human.
fulfilling the role of Guardian Terminator established in Terminator 2.
Well, other than the fact that they meet Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he
also fulfills the role of Guardian Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
It introduces a lot and contradicts a lot of lore for Terminators.
Yeah.
First of all, it turns out that when Terminators fulfill their mission,
They got nothing to do.
They got nothing to do, so they go off and
Have a family.
live.
Surely
they would self-destruct or something. You think?
No. Why would they?
Why wouldn't they?
Why would they? Because you might need them again.
But they can't contact from the future, surely, can they?
Well, maybe he'd still be around when Skynet is built, and he'd just get reactivated.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, Terminators just go off and have a great old time, and sometimes develop a conscience.
Yeah.
And empathy, and
They are learning machines. I like that little development where Arnold has gone off and developed a
He has a
personality
family.
and a life, and a family is not a physical relationship.
yeah, she goes, "What? She didn't notice that you were 140 pounds?" And he's like, "It's not a Is it 400 pounds?
400 pounds.
400 pounds. Sorry,
140 pounds.
I was like 140 pounds is actually relatively. 400 pounds. He's like, it's not a physical relationship.
Yeah, very good.
She respects me.
I'm a very good listener.
She liked that I was there, and I'm really funny.
My name is Carl. I do drapes.
Carl, I do drapes.
We're just doing the voice now. This is not good podcasting.
This is the whole podcast from now on.
Oh, good.
Good. But anyway, it turns out that Terminator develops a conscience, and more than that, develops a sense of remorse and guilt, which is really interesting. So basically, Sarah Connors is
Sarah who?
Sarah Connor
good.
is traveling around Datamedica,
Yeah.
just at the site where Terminators appear.
Yeah, and she kills them.
Tracks them down and eliminates them before they cause any problems.
Now, here's a big plot hole, Ben.
Go on.
How would Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator, who's giving that information, how would he know that?
He's got built-in sensors for tachyon displacement.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You've dribbled your water all over yourself there because you were so proud of your
was a
tachyon
nonsense
displacement
dribble.
theory.
Yeah. He's got a built-in tachyon displacement sensor, and he can just tell.
Look, Benjamin, I'm going to interrupt you and cut you across there. Many years ago, when, digital technology was first starting to become real, and, you could do a little cameo of a dead actor or something like that, or do a bit of de-aging, people were worried that you would be able to replace actors, and actors would become useless because you could put anyone in a film.
Yeah.
This film, at the beginning, has one of the best digital characters ever seen on film.
Yeah.
We're full into spoilers now because Ben has lost all his self-control.
Thanks.
But a young Edward Furlong is in this film.
Yeah.
And I don't think any part of Edward Furlong ever set foot on the set
No,
for
it's
this movie.
completely false.
It's a completely digital on the medium-sized screen that we saw it on, flawless 12-year-old Edward Furlong.
Yep, nailed it.
Terrifying.
Nailed it.
And then the Terminator nailed him.
Not a bad CGI Arnold Schwarzenegger as well. That was a young...
Yeah, much better than the previous two efforts at a young Schwarzenegger.
Young Terminator was good. I was like, ooh, okay. So full spoilers for that one.
It's a bit late now, Ben.
The timeline on this new Terminator completely eliminates Judgment Day's continuity.
Yeah.
Because...
No, not Judgment Day. Judgment Day is still fine.
Oh, sorry. Post-Judgment Day. So Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines, gone.
Gone.
Terminator Salvation, gone. Terminator Genesis, gone.
Thankfully.
Thank Christ. But anyway, all those are eliminated. And what we're left with is a brand new continuity. The whole world that Sarah Connor had worked to fight against is gone.
Yeah.
She succeeded in that. Unfortunately, it only went and cost her son.
Sure, look, he was a prick anyway.
Edward Furlong was a bit of a prick.
Not Edward Furlong. John Connor. Remember him on his little motorbike stealing from ATMs? Yeah, what a jerk.
Yeah.
It does render all of them. That's why, Ben, you've been jokingly calling this Terminator 3 2.
Yeah, Terminator 3 2.
It's the second attempt at Terminator 3.
Because they just removed all the stuff that they didn't like from the previous ones, and James Cameron was like, no.
It suffers a bit from Alien 3 syndrome.
Which is...
Do you remember Alien 3?
Yes.
Do you remember the opening scene of Alien 3?
Where Ripley's in a tank?
Ripley's in a tank, and the ship that she escaped on has crashed, killing...
The original Ripley.
No, killing Corporal Hicks and Newt.
Oh yeah, what we had left, we know. Yeah, her adopted daughter is just gone.
She's killed in the opening scene of the new one, and this is very much that. We spent a whole film hoping that the Terminator wouldn't get John Connor.
Yeah,
and then it's like, okay, oh god, he survived, he did it. He's going to lead.
He's going to save humanity.
But then in this opening scenes, remember that whole movie? Moot.
Yeah, just completely removed all that continuity. Probably for the better in terms of tidying things up. But for the worse for any major Terminator 2 Judgment Day fans.
Yeah, imagine you watch this straight after Terminator 2 Judgment Day. God, you'd be heartbroken.
You'd be devastated.
2 hours of trying to get that kid to survive, and then he gets killed on a beach in the start of the third one.
I think one of my favourite pieces of characterization in this is Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator then goes off. The John Connor killing Terminator is then free of purpose.
Yeah.
And he goes off. And we find out that he tries to fix Sarah Connor and repay his sin in the most machine-like way possible, where he's the one that sends her the texts telling her where something is going to happen, where a Terminator is going to appear, and he always signs it with for John. And he explains once that comes through, he's like, I wanted to give you purpose. We are nothing without purpose. And I was like, that is the most machine logic.
He doesn't have purpose, you see.
He didn't. That's
until he meets his
why
wife.
he has a family. He comes into a family and he becomes the surrogate father for her. She was in an abusive relationship, I think he says, with a real bad egg. And he stepped in and terminated that abusive relationship. And he looked after the kid and it gave him purpose. And I liked it because it was sweet. It was good motivation that made you care about the Terminator, but it was also very true to what a machine would do. It'd be like, oh, correct the course, fix it, do this, give you purpose. When what he actually did was turn bloody Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor, into a grizzled old woman who
she was already a lunatic, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember when she stabbed that guy with the pen?
Oh, yeah.
She was a mad woman.
She's madden.
Doing pull-ups. Doing mad pull-up. Mad
pull-up
She goes mad for pull-ups.
Pull-up game.
Anyway, Ben, the whole point is, you said, oh, that's the spooky robot that's coming to get you. And then I said, we should do an episode on spooky robots that are coming to get you.
Yeah, go on. I said that.
So, yeah, I'm taking credit for it. Oh. So, Ben, what I've done, Ben, is just in honor of this week, I have watched the Terminator series, the entire Terminator series, Ben.
You all right?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there. I watched them at 1.75 speed.
Oh,
because
Michael.
Ben, there's only so many days in the week.
There's only so many days in the bloody week, Ben.
And we're bloody recording this a week in advance, Ben. So I had to do last week's too.
Throw you off your game, buddy.
So I watched a lot of bloody Terminator, a lot of bloody sped up.
You alright?
I'll be back.
That's all he says now.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And does a lot of gun twirls.
Yeah, but faster.
Because he's better.
Have you seen this point?
Anyway, so are we going to do the retrospective first and then take a look at some other dangerous robots?
Terminator 1, Ben.
Terminator 1.
Going back to what you said earlier, Terminator 1, in my opinion, the best one.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
A true horror.
Yeah.
A cyberpunk horror.
Yep, okay.
An 80s cyberpunk horror.
In a world.
And also having, for a friend of ours, whose name we won't say on the podcast, the most formative sex scene of all time.
Oh.
Where Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor make...
Does this person secretly hope that every time he has sex with someone, there will be a baby that will save the world?
Yes, that's exactly it.
Oh, okay.
That's exactly
That is formative.
Yeah, but no, great film. It's basically a film about an evil robot coming to get you.
Yeah.
And it's unstoppable. And what are you going to do? You shoot it doesn't work. And he'll kill anyone as soon as look at them. And he'll drive a truck into a police station full of police.
The police station scene is one of the best things ever. Such a great relaxing of tension and then just instantaneous reboot of it. So, she's safe now. She found the place. Oh, holy fuck.
And he said, I'll be back. But this is before I'll be back was Arnold's catchphrase.
Before it was a big thing.
That's why I'll be back is Arnold's catchphrase.
Because it was
that scene was so cool.
That scene is the coolest scene going in a sci-fi cyberpunk horror.
Also, Ben, spectacular theme music.
Yeah. Dun 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 dun.
It's a little bit harsher in the first one.
Is it?
Yeah, that you're doing the Terminator 2 one.
I'm giving you the refined dun 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 dun.
Have a listen to the Terminator 1 soundtrack. Even better.
Oh.
No, 2 is better, but 1 is
solid.
iconic.
Iconic. I really enjoyed that movie for a number of reasons. I think there were some heavy Frankenstein vibes borrowed.
There were some Frankensteins, yeah.
And we'll get into that a little bit later, Michael, for our killer robot thing. But yeah, I really enjoyed the characterization of it. He is the most robot that any Terminator has ever been.
Yeah, he's just a Terminator.
Has completely refined that skill set of moving like a robot.
Yeah.
Just being cold, heartless, etc., like a robot.
I'm sure you've read a lot of the things about the casting for it.
No, go on.
They originally wanted Robert Patrick. No, not Robert Patrick, sorry. The guy, Lance Henriksen.
I'm going to have to check this out now.
Lance Henriksen?
I'm going to have to give him a
You know
look.
who Lance Henriksen is?
Nope.
Played Bishop in the Alien series.
Oh, no way.
They originally wanted him because he was more of an everyman. And if the Terminator is an infiltration unit...
That would make a lot more sense.
Yeah. They also, Ben...
bloody Lance Henriksen.
They also briefly wanted to cast O.J. Simpson. But Jimmy C said he wasn't believable as a remorseless killer.
Awkward. Awkward.
Which is one of the best Hollywood stories of all time. But it's a slasher film, basically.
Yeah.
It's a cyberpunk
It follows
slasher
on
film.
from that
It's a
70s
horror.
kind of...
It's a goddamn horror. It's not massively scary.
But it's a horror.
But it's a horror.
It's Michael Myers. If Michael Myers was a robot.
Michael Myers was an invincible, unstoppable robot with guns and a truck that'll drive into a police station.
Yeah.
Terminator 2, Ben, much more crack.
Bloody, throw that original formula out the door.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's do a bloody blockbuster.
It's a block. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Thanks.
One is a low budget horror grindhouse thing.
It's an indie grindhouser. And number 2 is like Jimmy C's got some walking around cash. Let's fucking do this.
When you see this guy, he's liquid and he's metal and he's a robot.
Yeah,
he'll turn into your ma.
Now that, Michael, was formative with regards to special effects and what we did with them and stuff like that and how much you could do.
And it still holds up, which is incredible.
It still holds up.
Well, hold on. I say that it still holds up. It still holds up at 1.75 speed. I didn't break it down scene by scene here.
Yeah, I mean, again, another actor who just comes in and nails robot kind of things, but with much more movement this time.
He invented the Terminator Run.
Yeah, the arms
as you know,
up.
Ben, I am a master of.
We may have to post that at some point on the podcast Instagram. Just,
I have to do the Terminator Run.
I think Michael does the best Terminator run, either in or out of film,
in or out of continuity,
that I've ever seen.
I can do a good Terminator Run.
I absolutely
I scared those women in the cinema.
You did. You actually made them very uncomfortable, which was not cool.
No,
which was not cool. But we couldn't really apologize fast enough because they thought you were going to kill them, so they ran away.
They thought I was a Terminator.
Yes, so Robert Patrick kind of nailed this antagonistic thing. And what I thought was really cool is it was a great foil for the original Terminator. So for those that don't know the plot of Terminator 2, very, very quickly, the Resistance in the future has gotten their hands on a T-800.
Yeah.
T-850 or T-800?
T-850, I think.
Okay. They got their hands on one of the original Terminator models, sent it back in time.
Well, not one of the originals, because the original is the T-100.
Oh, nuts.
Or a T-101.
Anyway, they got their hands on an updated model.
Yeah.
It still uses the same basis as the original T-100 model.
But now it's spiky hair.
Because it's the 90s.
Yeah.
And they send him back. They reprogram to protect John Connor from any future robot assassins. And they send him back. And one of the great choices there is we have to learn to love this character all of a sudden. How do you take a ruthless killing machine and make him the hero? Well, you let Jimmy C just slide on in there and work this out. But Robert Patrick
do a high five.
is a perfect foil for him because we still have that slow lumbering thing and we understand how this much faster model could be a threat.
Yeah,
for him.
He can run behind a car and jump on with hooks. Hooks for hands.
Bloody hook hands.
You turn into your man, stab you in the face.
Robert Patrick does a great job. He does a little cameo at the end of Wayne's World 2 where the lads are pulled over and it turns out it's bloody Robert Patrick. Yeah.
He also, Ben, I'm sure you know this, and we might have even talked about this on the podcast before. Are you aware that this is one of the films that was spoiled by its own trailer?
No.
If you watch this film unaware of what it's about, there is no reason to believe that the Terminator, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, isn't being sent to kill John Connor.
Yeah.
And the T-1000 is looking to save him, because you don't even know the T-1000's a robot yet. So that was the great twist of the film, is that scene where they meet in the corridor and the Terminator is coming towards him from one direction and the cop is coming towards them from the other direction.
And all of a sudden,
Terminator has the box of roses, and then everything starts going slow motion, and they get the dun 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 dun, but overlaid with the T-1000 tune of dun, that dirgy sound,
that long drudgy noise,
which has kind of infiltrated every trailer ever since.
Ever.
And then the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator says, "Get down." But he's the baddie. And then he shoots the other guy and he saves him.
Mm.
And that was the great twist of the
Bloody
film.
excellent.
Ruined by the thing, though. This time, Arnold is the good guy. You're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I would love to have seen it. I would have loved to have seen it for the first time ever, not knowing that twist.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Would have been amazing.
Would have been amazing.
Would have been amazing.
I think in a lot of ways, Terminator 2 is like Jimmy C's best work in blockbusterdom.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's solid. The characterization is great. The various actors do a top-notch job.
Yeah.
CGI is on point. Story is mad interesting. And you actually give a shit about Edward Furlong.
Yeah, but you also give a shit about the Terminator, and when he dies at the end, it's fucking sad.
Yeah, it's so the little thumbs up sinking into the...
How did he do that? His brain was melted already. It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. But
Anyway.
sure, look, that's not what we're here to talk about, Michael. We're here to talk about another film that didn't make any sense, but T3, Rise of the Machines.
Not very good.
Not very good. Christiana Loken, thank you very much. Got to play that one. Many people were in the role for that one there, Michael. Many people were being talked about. Bloody China, the wrestler, the WWE wrestler.
He's dead now. Don't speak ill of her.
That
Go on.
knocks out all those jokes. And I can't remember the names of other people because I don't have them written down.
Very good.
But China was the one that stuck out to me.
The problem is it's just not an interesting baddie.
Yeah, she's too robotic.
I don't know if it's that, because Robert Patrick was incredibly robotic. She doesn't bring anything interesting to it. She
was a sexy lady.
She is a sexy lady. She inflects her boobs, and she likes a red leather suit thing. Pantsuit.
No, it's not. It's a catsuit.
It's not a catsuit, I don't think. I think it is in two pieces. I think it's
okay. It's a pantsuit.
It's a play suit, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what they're called. It's awful, though. It's very 90s.
It's awful.
The best thing about...
Is it from the 90s?
Is it 99?
Is it 99? I'll take a
the
look.
best thing about Terminator 3, Benjamin, is the ending.
Which is where they fail.
They fail, but the Terminator knew they were going to fail, and he tricks them into going.
Oh, yeah.
He tricks them into saving themselves, and that was his plan the whole time. He wasn't there to stop Judgment Day. He was there to make sure John Connor and his primary lieutenant Claire Danes survived.
Claire Danes. No bloody good. 2003.
2003.
2003.
It's fine. It's better than bloody Genesis, which is just awful. Salvation and Genesis are bizarre. They're bizarre.
Salvation, believe it or not, was my first ever introduction to the Terminator series.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah. It's
the
the worst. Well, no, I think Genesis is worse than
Genesis
Salvation.
might be a worse film, but the thing you can say about Salvation is it's the least Terminator film of all the Terminator films.
I would completely agree. Having seen them all now, completely agree. What a weird introduction point for me.
Yeah.
That came out when I was like, I think I would have been 17.
Ben does maths. What year did it come out?
I'm going to take a look now.
Okay.
Anyway, keep spinning your wheels on Terminator 3 there before we get to...
This is more engaging. People love this. This is one of our most popular segments. What year did it come out? 2007?
2009.
2009.
So I would have actually been 18.
Okay.
18.
What year were you born?
1991.
Yeah, that's right. That's bad on.
It lines up.
Very good.
Do you know how I do that? And you'll find this very entertaining because I'm so bad at maths.
Go on.
I know that I was 15 doing my junior cert in 2006. And that's how I do it. I add the numbers to either end of
Very good.
I either add or subtract numbers from 2006.
Not the best way to do it. Anyway.
No, it never is.
Salvation and Genesis are bizarre. They're a bizarre pair
Are we moving
of films.
on from Terminator 3?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The best thing about Terminator 3 is the ending. That's it. That's it. What's good about it? It's the only thing. Also, she has a plasma cannon built in.
They keep the model from that and use it in Terminator 3-2. Dark Fate, because she is half T-1000, half...
Yeah, but without the interest.
Without the interest, yeah.
Gabriel Luna was a much better one.
Gabriel Luna was a great Terminator.
I don't think it was Christiana Loken or Gabriel Luna's fault.
No.
Because
better writing, better producing.
Better producing, better use of the concept.
Yeah.
Like the T-1000 exterior on the metal normal didn't really make any difference.
She had built-in weapons for some reason.
Yeah, she
and
had
still
a
used the
plasma
gun
cannon.
sometimes.
Yeah, it didn't.
Nah.
It wasn't utilized in the same creepy way as Gabriel Luna becoming two Gabriel Lunas,
Yeah, it was creepy.
or Gabriel Luna and a skeleton.
Gabriel Luna and Skellington. That was a good pairing. Anyway, we'll get to that later. On to Salvation. Salvation is...
No, what I'm trying to say is Salvation and Genesis, we're going to cover them both together because they're no good. Salvation and Genesis could not be more different and somehow be in the same series.
Yeah.
Salvation is humorless.
There's no crack.
Joyless.
No banter.
Pas de crack.
Pas de crack.
Pas de colour.
Pas de couleur.
Pas de excitement. It's a grim, boring, futuristic... There's no time travel in it.
In some ways, it's an almost perfect mid-2000s movie. Because a lot of blockbusters at that time were exactly as you described them.
But it could just be any film set in the
Sci-fi
future.
dystopia
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
And I'm secretly on the other side. Get out of here. Nothing to do with Terminator. A crappy CGI Arnold for about 10 seconds.
I enjoyed that. Because
it might have been 17 and a half seconds.
Because I didn't know the other two movies all that well. And I was like, oh, he was in the first one. That's very good.
Get out of
I
here.
was young. Leave me alone.
Young and easily impressed.
Young and easily impressed. I also thought it was impressive CGI for the time. Looking back at it now,
Was
terrible.
No. Genesis has some pretty good CGI.
Yeah.
The
Shame it's shite.
it's crap. The only good thing in Genesis is the opening. The retread of the opening of Terminator 1 and 2 specifically, really. And the different Arnolds meeting each other. Fun, funny, engaging.
Bit of
Then
crack.
it becomes a parody of itself.
It's just bizarre that they remove John Connor and turn him into something evil. Like, it's just a really weird choice. Emilia Clarke is there because she was in Game of Thrones
She's
at the
very
time.
short.
Very short.
And they make a joke about that.
Yeah.
Do you remember that bit?
I don't
When
remember
they get
very well.
arrested by the cops and the theme music from bloody Bad Boys, and they get arrested, and then they all stand in front of a
lineup.
lineup.
She's tiny.
And she's tiny, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is
Huge.
6'6". He's not 6'6".
No, I doubt it.
He's the same height as my friend Owen Roddy.
And Owen Roddy is...
About 6 foot.
Okay. But he has to be big and dangerous in the thing because it's bloody Terminator.
Because it's Terminator. But look, that's fine. Anyway, what was I saying? Genesis is no good.
Genesis is no good. It's
No good.
bizarre. You take your main
Jane
character
Courtney's in it.
and you... Jane Courtney's supposed to be the soldier that's sent back to impregnate her, isn't he?
Kyle Reese.
Yeah, he's Kyle Reese.
What do you mean he's supposed to be?
It's not really him though, is it?
Are you taking an issue with the artifice of cinema?
What I think is most interesting is they've never really nailed John Connor. Like, Christian Bale wasn't great as him.
No.
Bloody Edward Furlong. Best version of him was probably Edward Furlong as a teenager.
The best version of John Connor is the guy who
The
plays
2
John Connor in
seconds,
Terminator
just
2 for
about
2
to say.
seconds with all the
He's
scars.
old John Connor.
Yeah.
Best John Connor we've ever had on screen. Everybody else has been mildly disappointing.
But anyway, Terminator Dark Fate does away with the whole John Connor thing because he's just some man.
He's just some man. I don't need some man. Yeah, so look, it turns out that, full spoilers for Terminator thing, it turns out that
It's pointless now, man. You've ruined it from the
Danny...
first
No,
time.
because this one's a big spoiler. Turns out that Danny is the reason she is saving. She's not somebody's mother.
She's not just some guy's
She's not
mother.
She's not just some baby factory for salvation.
Yeah.
It's her.
It's her.
They
She's
come back
John.
in time to save
She's John.
her.
She's not Sarah.
She's John. She's not her. She's not Sarah. She's
Anyway.
not. It's not important.
This is the third best Terminator film.
Yeah, I think so. I think comfortably. We really enjoyed it, Michael.
We did.
And we didn't expect to, Michael.
No,
We didn't expect to at all.
we didn't, and it was quite good.
I'm delighted we went to go see it. Mackenzie Davis is great.
Mackenzie Crook, yeah.
Very, 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 very good at being a human robot thing.
She's got a very long neck.
She's very tall.
Very tall lady.
Very tall lady.
Very long neck.
Very long neck.
Mostly neck.
Mostly neck.
I think she's actually an average height person, and then neck, and then
Mackenzie, 90% neck Davis.
head. Yeah, that's her.
That's her. It's there on the headshots. She's just out of frame. If they were to do that joke from Genesis, she'd be taller
Yeah, that would be the joke.
than the rest.
That would be hilarious.
She'd be out of frame.
Oh, Genesis, what a good film. Ben, anyway, this week made us think of what other spooky robots are coming to get
Spooky,
you.
scary robots. Sending shivers down your... No,
So you asked people on the internet.
I
What's
did a
your
classic
favorite,
Ben. I
classic
asked the
Ben,
internet.
Put up a poster with
'cause that's
teal
what I
in
do.
it.
Yeah, I put up a poster with teal in it, and friend of the podcast and original glop, bloody relentlessly Rachel said teal 1000 to make fun of myself.
Because you're always putting teal in
Followed
everything.
because I have a teal eye, Michael.
Teal eye for the straight guy.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
To which you said, you ruthless dickhead, this joke appeals to me.
Yeah.
And then I said, it appeals to you.
Yeah, you're very good.
To
Don't
lean
read your own
into my
jokes
tail.
off the internet,
No,
Ben.
I'm gonna
Tell us
do it
what
now.
other people
I
said.
enjoyed that. Most people agreed that the Terminator 101 to 1000 are kings. A lot of people said the Daleks. Friend of the podcast, Dr. Cadwell, said the Dalek. And then he gave me an interesting one that I hadn't considered at all, Michael.
Go on.
Yul Brynner's gunslinger from the original Westworld.
Very good.
Very Terminator.
Well, in many ways, the inspiration for Terminator.
Very, very, very Terminator. It was an excellent shout out, and I watched a few scenes. Yul Brynner, good robot.
I watched that movie, Ben, about 2 years ago when we talked about Westworld.
Yeah, you must have had to.
Yeah. There's a lot of Terminator in it.
Bloody very
sure.
good Terminator. Very
Yeah.
good. The walk. There's a walk that comes in. There's a score that goes with it. And
Of course, the Daleks, not actually robots.
Well, now, see, this is where we run into a definition issue, Michael.
Yeah, go on.
A tissue issue with definitions.
Yeah.
What are we stating as a robot? Does it have to be completely automaton? Are we allowed to have biological components? Are cyborgs part of this? How is it going to work, Michael? Because there are two. No, go on. Sorry.
No, well, because Daleks are just little squiggly things in a tank.
In a tank, essentially. Yeah. And then the Cybermen are also from Doctor Who, but those are assimilated humans.
Yeah, like the Borg.
Like the Borg. So where do we draw the line here, Michael? I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to keep reading off.
Well, there is no answer, Ben.
There's no right answer. So
They're
we're just
all
going to
good
include
shouts,
some crack. We're just going to put some lads in.
I'd like to see the Cybermen fight the Borg.
I think the Borg would win.
I don't
They're
know.
more mobile.
Are they
Aren't they?
in space? You mean, or like on?
I don't know.
On a personal level.
On a personal level,
They're all the same kind of trope of the fear of the implacable machine coming to
the
get you.
unity.
Yeah, coming. You will join us.
You will join us.
Whereas Daleks are just dicks.
They are little dickbags, aren't they?
Yeah.
Exterminate.
Did you see the episode of Doctor Who, the David Tennant episode, where the Daleks and the Cybermen go to
war.
battle?
Yeah.
And the Cybermen say, you would begin a war with the Cybermen, and the Daleks say, this is not a war, it is an extermination.
They're arrogant little shitbags.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
There are millions of Cybermen. How many are you? There are 6 Daleks. It's brilliant.
That's all it is.
Yeah,
That's all it takes.
It's very good.
That's all it takes. We can do it.
Very exciting.
Put your back into it. Other people said, Infinity Action Art said, Roy the Replicant is a great killer robot.
He is.
Not in a traditional Terminator sense, but the dialogue when he's fixing to murder you.
Because he's not an implacable, unstoppable.
Implacable.
Mhm.
What does that word mean?
Unstoppable.
Is it?
Mm.
Huh. In a derogatory sense, or?
Very good. He's not unstoppable. He's not unkillable.
Yeah.
He, in many ways, despite being a robot, has the frailties of a human.
Yes, and he's all the weaknesses going. A little bit stronger than the average human.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think.
and he can do a flip.
A little bit stronger. He can do a flip.
He can do a kick.
Comfortably do a flip or a kick.
Yeah.
A flip kick.
He can pilot a starship off the belts of Jupiter and whatnot.
He can. He's done it.
Yeah.
He's done it.
He can do whatever you want. But
He can lament the passing of time.
But he's not... Very good. Tickled my funny bone there, I have to say. But he's not going to stop a Terminator. If a Terminator comes, if a Terminator comes to get you, you don't want a Roy Batty protecting you. You don't want a bloody Kyle Reese either. But you know what I mean.
But that got me thinking about the other rounds of replicants that we saw in the other ones, who have clearly been given a little bit of a boost, because Kay is stronger than your average bear, and then Dave Bautista replicant is stronger than your average bear.
Yeah, but they can still be killed with good old fashioned stabbing.
Yeah, we haven't really come up with a super replicant yet.
No, and they don't particularly want to, because they are replicants.
Well, it's just a slave labour force.
Yeah, they're just replacing humans. They're not designed to be killing machines. Mm. Although you could say about Terminators, one of the problems of Terminators is, as the series has gone on, they've gotten easier to kill.
Yeah, also they've gotten older if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
I didn't know Terminators could age.
So droopy.
But they can.
Yeah, very droopy.
Didn't think Terminators could age. But they can.
They can, though, yeah.
Although
they did also age in Genesis.
Did they?
Because he was the Terminator who was sent back in time to protect Sarah Connor.
Oh, yeah.
And he stuck around since then, so that's why he was older then.
Yeah, that was it.
They've always gone... You know what robot would kick a Terminator's ass?
Go on.
Data from Star Trek.
Do you reckon?
Very strong. can handle weapons,
Yes.
very intelligent,
Very adaptable.
very adaptable. Yeah, I don't see a Terminator posing much of a threat to Mr. Data.
Probably not.
A
Probably
phaser
not.
would go through a Terminator pretty quickly, I imagine.
I'd get on board with that. And then 9Wassies, frequent contributor to our Instagram post, said, Wall-E, the unstoppable cleaning machine.
Terrifying.
Terrifying.
And surprisingly big.
Yes, bigger than expected.
You look at him and you think he's pretty small, but then he's actually pretty
On the
big.
actual ship,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, well, that actually makes a lot more sense.
He's
than-
pretty big because he's a trash compactor. Like, you think he'd be up to your knee.
Yeah.
But he would, like, he'd
Nah.
put you in that stomach and he'd crush you.
Yeah, you need a bit of size to be a compacted machine. Just out there.
You don't want to get
Scrub-a-dubbin.
get contracted by him. Very short arms, though.
Very short arms. You
So-
could probably pull an old T-Rex moving him.
Yeah.
Do
Well-
duck around the back.
Is that how you
See what
defeat a
they're
T-Rex?
No, I just give up, Michael. Michael, I'm going to be honest with you. In all of the scenarios that we come across, we have the exact opposite reaction. You reckon you could take whatever's coming.
Yep.
And I go, no, I just sit it out and wait for it to end.
I don't think I could beat a Terminator Rev 9 in a fight.
I don't think you could beat a regular Terminator in a fight.
I reckon I could.
Nah.
Give him a triangle.
In realistic physics, Michael, one good smack from a Terminator TA100 and that's it, your head's gone.
Provably, Ben, that's not true because they spend the whole film smacking people and throwing them into things, and everyone gets up and they're not even injured. So in the cinema world,
Unless
I reckon I just
you're a supporting character, in which case they'll
Dead.
go through you for
Dead.
shortcuts.
they look at you funny and you're dead.
And as we all know, Michael, your greatest flaw as a co-host is that you never see yourself as the supporting
Never.
character.
Never.
Michael, protagonist Leonard.
They would send me back in time to fight the Terminators. Like, just body slam them. All right. I don't think you know what body slam means,
All
but
right,
I'll do it.
If you want me to take on half the human population, that's fine
I'll
by
do it.
me.
I'll take on any Terminators you have.
Keep them coming.
Keep all those scary robots coming. You know what was a bad example of scary robots?
One.
The Transformers series.
Yeah, but they're useless.
Big,
Big lumbering
muddy, insecty-faced, characterless
shite bags.
Oh, terrible.
But it got me thinking, Michael,
Oh, what did you think
of
of
other
it?
scary ones.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have to do a few others. We've got a couple of scary robots
Go on.
in science fiction. This is gonna wrap us up, ladies and gentlemen. We'll just give you a quick list.
All right.
We had Gladys from the Portal series. Bloody
Well,
big
she's-
hive mind thing.
She is an AI.
Is that
She's
not-
more of a Skynet than a Terminator.
Yeah. Speaking of other Skynets.
She's more of a HAL.
Yeah, wait, I have Hal here as well, but that's not really a robot, is it? It's an AI. It's
That's
a
what I'm
rogue
saying.
AI.
But Gladys is a bit in between both because Gladys does have a physical form.
One that we forgot about when
Yeah.
Will Smith wasn't phoning it in and just cloning himself
Bloody
in different films. iRobot.
How do you-
Great version of evil bloody robots
Yeah.
causing a bit of havoc.
And-
Now, controlled by a hive mind,
Yeah, but very fast.
but very fast, very durable,
Durable, yeah.
difficult to kill,
Yeah.
and just menacing. They were really good. They were designed to look like iPhones when iPhones used to be all
iRobot,
white and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, I think it was an on-the-nose commentary on, ooh, where does it end? Ooh.
Where is it? Are they going to come to get? Is your iPhone going to come to get you?
Turns out with shite redesigns and Apple kowtowing to China, as it happens.
Oh.
But yes, we had them, and those were some of the other ones that we took a look at. But it inspired me, Michael, as you recall. I mentioned at the beginning,
Yeah.
Frankenstein, which
Go
is
on.
kind of the original creation's going to get you kind of narrative.
Because
that we
robots didn't exist.
created.
then.
Robots didn't exist then. But we've seen that repeat time and time again, Michael. Interestingly, because you talked about AI fusing with robots, we have Ex Machina, which was quite a recent look at an updated Frankenstein mythology, where bloody Oscar Isaac makes himself an Alicia Vikander style robot, and then he gets Donald Gleason to come over and give it an old test run.
Give that a test there, Donald, you expendable
The
ginger.
expendable ginger, and it has horrible consequences, Michael. The bloody machine becomes very sentient, very like, oh, I don't know if I like being locked up.
Yeah, let me out.
Don't know if I'm a fan of that.
Yeah.
So we see that come back again and again, and really, that all started with Frankenstein, the bloody scary thing coming to get you, the relentless creation that's out to
But
get
wasn't
you.
Frankenstein's monster always crying about things?
I was a whiny little bitch.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
the Benjamin to Gothic romantic literature. It's like, oh, Michael,
You've
why have you made me?
making fun of me?
Yeah, I did.
You like that fly. You like that fly from bloody living with oneself.
Anyway,
And we forgot to mention the Necrons from Warhammer. They're just Terminators in space.
they're just Terminators in space. Terminators in space.
There's lots of bloody Terminators in space.
Yeah,
though.
well, we need them. They're useful.
Doesn't every sci-fi basically have
Cylons.
some sort of the Cylons that come to get you there? Basically, Terminators in space.
they're
Although they predate Terminators by quite a bit, don't
do they? No, they do. Yeah, they do.
Don't they? Do they?
Yeah, no, they do. The
They would,
original
wouldn't they?
Battlestar
Would though,
Galactica
wouldn't they?
had a lot more.
Because they're just classic wibbly wobbly robot eye men.
Yeah, and they have the updated version for the ill-fated Sky series was...
Oh yeah, that wasn't ill-fated.
They were... No, it was pretty good, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Starbuck, yeah.
Huge readership.
Yeah. They were like Terminators with big bloody traps.
And also they had the infiltration units who looked like humans, and there's a bit of Terminator.
To a large degree, the Star Wars soldiers are all incompetent Terminators.
Nah, because they're not unstoppable. They're
fairly stoppable.
incredibly stoppable.
Fairly stoppable.
Oh, I've accidentally stopped a whole gang of the stormtroopers there now.
I just tripped and spilt my pint.
It's me, Al Ewing.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, did we miss any big scary monster men?
Robots.
Robot men, sorry. Robot men. Let us know. You can get in touch with us on seomrabeag.com, SEOMORABEAG.com.
Means tiny room in Irish.
Means tiny room in Irish. We are on Instagram. We are on
What
Apple.
are we on Instagram as, Ben?
We are on Instagram now as Sean Rabeag, in case you missed that announcement last week / this week, because we're recording it this week. This is all very deja vu. If you listen to us on Spotify, give us a follow. It's good for the statistics.
Spotify, yeah.
If you're listening to us on Apple, we're on Apple Podcasts. Give us a review, please. We'd love that review. If you're one of our limited YouTube listenership, now like and subscribe would be good. Share it with your pals. Share it with your pals. Get us out there. Yeah. Get us out there. And if you're listening anywhere else, let us know where you're listening, because we haven't kept track of that at all. If you enjoyed this week's episode, let us know which Terminator is your favourite. Definitely Genesis. It's got to be the winner.
It's not the worst one.
That's it. And we'll be back next week.
Very
Bye.
good. Very good. I see what you've done there. I've undermined it though.